Morpheme is the smallest unit in a language that carries meaning or grammatical function. The purpose of morpheme is to form words with clear grammatical meaning and function. Morpheme have two types. The first is free morpheme and the second is bound morpheme. So I will present it about the free morpheme. A free morpheme is a morpheme that can stand alone as a word and has a complete meaning. A free morpheme have a characteristic. There is independence. Free morpheme can stand alone without needing to be attached to other morphemes. Free morpheme have two types. The first is content morpheme and the second is function morpheme. A content morphemes that morphemes convey the main meaning in a sentence and often include in nouns, example dog, in verbs, example eat, sing, in adjective, example happy, in adverbs, example quickly, silently. And the second is function morphemes. These morphemes serves grammatical purposes and include in article, example the, a, in prepositions, example in, on, in conjunctions, example and, but, or. So this is examples of free morphemes. In nouns, example book, dog, in adjectives, example happy, tall, in verbs, example play, dance, and in adverbs, example quickly, softly, and others. Usage in sentences. Free morphemes can be used in various ways within sentences. Example, dog bark. The dog as a noun, and then this book is very interesting. The book as a noun.
Hi guys, my name is Trinita Zalensky Sinaga. Next, I will explain a bound morpheme. A bound morpheme is a morpheme that cannot stand alone and must be attached to another morpheme to form a word. There are two types of bound morpheme: derivational morphemes and inflectional morphemes. In derivational morphemes, these morphemes change the class or meaning of a word. For example, adding ness to kind with kindness. An example, adding months to develop with development, and adding less to hope with hopeless. Next, in inflectional morphemes. These morphemes does not change the class of the word, but affects the form of the word to indicate grammatical aspect, such as number or tenses. For example, in tenses, walk become walk, past tense. In number, cat become cats, plural. In possessions, duck become ducks, indicating ownership. And last, comparison, big become bigger, comparing two things. We move to functions of derivational and inflectional morphemes. Functions of derivational morphemes is to change the class of a word. For example, from a noun to an adjective or vice versa. Expands vocabulary by creating variations of words. And functions of inflectional morphemes indicates grammatical aspects, such as plurality, possessions, or tenses. Aids in forming more complex sentences by showing relationship between words.
Hello, I am Puspa Gajah, and now let's talk about Affix, which are part of the bound morpheme. An affix is a morpheme that's added to a base word to form a new word or word form. Usually, affixes function to add meaning to words, change word classes, and create new word forms. Affixes are divided into several parts, but usually the ones that often appear are prefix and suffix. Do you know what the difference is between these two affixes? Well, as we know that vowel morphemes cannot stand alone or dependent. So, in a vowel morpheme, usually the addition of the word can be at the front or can be at the back of the word. Okay, the first is prefix. So, prefix is an affix that is added at the beginning of the best word. For example, on, read, this. An example of its use is disagree and etc. Here, the best word is agree, which means in Indonesian is setuju. And here, this cannot stand alone because it has no meaning. But after being combined, the meaning is there. While suffix is an affix that is added at the end of the last word. For example, are in, at, next. And they used in words, for example, like happiness, running, and others. This is another example of affixes, namely prefix and suffix. And prefix, there are misunderstand, review, disagree, and etc. And then suffixes, which are likely, finished, kindness, and joyful. Well, can you find where the vowel morpheme of each example of the two affixes is? Okay, write in the comment column.
Okay, so a morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of language. Morphemes are divided into two types, which is free morphemes, which can stand alone or have their own meaning or independent, and bound morphemes, which cannot stand alone or dependent, and must be combined with other words to have meaning. Bound morpheme also divided into two types, which is inflectional and derivational. And in bound morpheme, there are two types of affixes, which are suffixes, which are added to the end of the word, and prefixes, which is added to the beginning of the word. I think that's all the explanation about morphemes from our group. Thank you for your attention and bye-bye!